I thought it was a game. Nah, I got $200. That was my first bounty, and I thought it was fake money, and there was some game currency. It was real money. A broad understanding of that is what can allow you to break the code. Next thing I know, I literally know JavaScript. I didn't even understand it. Next thing I know, and after some months, I'm like, wow, I'm writing JavaScript. And I discovered an RCE. I got the ASN from Shodan, just scanned, and I was lucky. And I created a payload, and then that was a good bounty. I tested the server and I got the connection back, and I was like, wow. There's a whole different way they pay for client-side bugs versus...
And that's also directly correlated to the kind of impact you would make. A server-side bug would leak everyone.
Server-side bugs is zero user interaction and crazy impact. Recollapse. Yes, so that tool is also a good tool to look for weird behaviors on how the data is being processed. It sits on main domains of some of the biggest websites you see that you log into every day. There's always new code being pushed. There's always don't even think of what bug I'm going to find. So just know there's always new code out there.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. This is the Hacker to Hacker series where we sit down with some of the sharpest minds in bug bounty and unpack how they really think, act, and grow. Today's guest is someone very special. You might have heard his name if you have ever hacked an Uber. Mashud is here with us, popularly known as Mashoud1122 on Twitter. He has been quietly dropping some of the cleanest, highest impact server-side and API bugs you would have ever seen, from OAuth account takeovers to proxy misconfigurations, and a bunch of other things if you see on his Twitter and Medium account. What makes his story even more interesting is how methodical he is. I've been talking to him for quite some time now, and I've seen the way he works. He doesn't chase every shiny target, and if you see his record, he's mostly hacking on public bug bounty targets, so it's not some private bug bounty that he's farming. It's mostly Uber, Airbnb, and a few other targets that attack surface is very familiar with, and a lot of people already know about these. In this conversation, we'll dig into his journey, how he started, what his process looks like, and how he decides which programs to hunt on, and what keeps him improving, what he has improved over the past 6-7 years that he has been hacking on. Let's jump in with Mashud. Do you want to say hi to the audience?
Hello, Mashud here.
Cool, Mashud. With that, let's get into the origins and early wins that you had. How did you get into bug hunting, and especially what attracted you to it?
I got into bug bounties through HackerOne. I initially came across the CTFs, which I did, and I got some invites, and I thought it was a game. Nah, I got $200. That was my first bounty, and I thought it was fake money, and then it was real money. There was some game currency, but it was real money. Now,
And this was when? Back in 2018, 19?
I think, 2018. I think I was like 17. 2018. 16.
So you have been hacking for the past 7-8 years now.
Yeah.
And did you have any formal training into it? Like, how did you crack those CTFs? Did you look it up? How was that?
I was into CTFs. I was just, online sites doing CTFs. I was just playing around back then, nothing crazy, and I was programming too, so I did have an understanding of how the web works, how a browser interacts with a website, and how the website itself interacts with its own stuff, its own service, its own software. So a broad understanding of that is what can allow you to break the code.
Have you ever built a website for yourself or any web application?
I've built a lot of sites, but it's personal for bug bounties. I showed you a few. But it's not like portfolio sites or nothing. It's just scanners that are running.
That's interesting. So you taught yourself about these websites, how to build a website, how to like JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Did you teach yourself, or did you take a course or something for that?
For HTML and CSS specifically was, I think W3 schools. But that is not really programming.
I have also learned through W3 schools. The best part is that they have that HTML editor where you can live check whatever everything.
Yes, so that gave me a basic understanding of HTML, but then going deep into programming, I started off with PHP, and then I did Python. And PHP, for that, I would say I did a lot of those challenges, like a challenge. It has an end goal, stuff like that. I was participating in that a lot, and just creating simple stuff for myself, anything I wanted to do. And then I did Python and Golang.
Oh, you did Golang as well.
And for JavaScript, I learned it because of account takeovers. You have to chain it. Next thing I know, I literally know JavaScript. I didn't even understand it. Next thing I know, and after some months, I'm like, wow, I'm writing JavaScript.
That's interesting. Yep, that's very interesting. And you learned Golang on your own, or did you take a course or something for that?
Yeah, it's the same way. That's how I learned a lot of programming languages. It's kind of technically the same. You learn the basics, and then you create your own projects. So if you need to understand a whole new API or a whole new function or something, you learn that through doing a project or something for yourself. Yeah.
So would you recommend W3 schools for someone who is just starting into understanding how the web works? Or do you have any other recommendations?
Okay, so that's cybersecurity. The recommendation would be Portswigger, your labs, and bug bounty write-ups, because if you're from a CTF perspective, you might have the skills, but the mindset for the real world, the mindset to hack an actual organization is, you just have to twist it from that CTF mindset, but the skills is the same. You don't need. So I would say Portswigger, bug bounty write-ups. Interact with the Twitter community, and because to actively hack is based on new exploits, new techniques. So you friends share it and all those stuff. Yeah, get into a community or something.
Talking about that, so what was the first meaningful bounty that you earned and you learned from that experience? I mean, you would have been doing a lot of bounties, maybe small and big, but what was something that was very meaningful and you learned something on the process?
Learned something in the sense of hacking, right?
In the sense of hacking, yeah.
I used to manually just dive and test out the APIs. So I was finding a few stuff, and then I decided to test out a wild scope. That's when I started building the scanners, and then I discovered an RCE, which was a CVE actually. I think it was an Apache CVE. So I got the ASN from Shodan, just scanned, and I was lucky, and I created a payload, and then that was a good bounty.
Yeah, what was the bug about? You were able to bypass something?
Yeah, it was it was on Apache Struts CVE, which I believe was through the user agent. I just downloaded the POC straight from GitHub, but it was blind, and I just created a simple Python script, something like this, and to turn it from blind to get the data sent back to me. I think that is this part. But this was a long time ago, and this is when I started loving scripting and wild scopes. Yeah, good impact, good bounty. That's one of my first major bugs.
And how much was this bounty for?
8,000.
Oh, that's a good one. Even my first bounty, the big bounty, was $8,000. I remember it was NPM.
Yeah.
How long did it take for you to find this bug?
It took me, I think, 3 days, because I did initially discover it when I was creating the script, but I thought it was a false positive, and I had a flight, so I just brushed it off, and then I arrived, and I tested the server, and I got the connection back. It was blind, and I did get the output back on my server, and I was like, wow.
Oh, that's very interesting. That sounds like a CTF challenge. To get a connection back.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
So I was going through some of and we discussed this previously as well. You found a very large VAST bypass where you earned $17,500 long back. So How did that shape your appetite for larger programs? Like, was it after that you started only doing big things or big programs, big criticals?
Yeah, so with that specifically, I read some blogs from shops and also I think Z-Wink, which was some years ago, where they talked about focusing on what you are good at, what you see yourself good at, and what pays the most. And so that is what I'm focused on. So it might look like I'm focused but on the program, or it's on specific things I'm focused on because I know they're paying. So that's what will make it look like that.
Okay.
Did I get that right? Right? I answered your question.
Oh no, yeah, that's right. So was this a collab bug or did you do it solely? Again, the whole thing, the WAF thing.
No, it was independent. If you're talking about, are you talking about the source code bypass? I showed the source code 0.
There's a WAF bypass that I saw where you earned like 17,500. I think it was long back.
Can you remind me what did I go? I just want to remember the bug.
I think it was a WAF bypass on a major program or something. The one that you were talking about, what was that? Was it a source code review kind of thing? The one that you...
I do remember. I showed you a few 17,000 bugs. That's why I'm confused. That's why
good problems to have.
Know exactly what.
But yeah, I was more focused around more focus on less noise bugs and more on the server side bugs. That's how did you shift from usually people start from the client side bugs a lot.
Okay, yes. So that is a good question. Yeah. Anybody in bug bounties might fall in a trap, especially if you're trying to make easy money from XSS. Because I did have a full year of submitting XSS to one program and I did make some good money, but I noticed I didn't know anything else. I stopped focusing on other stuff. I just want to go to a website and you know how to test for XSS.
Put everywhere payloads in all these fields that you find.
Exactly. And I think that was in the COVID year, right? And so since I had to tell myself, since that COVID year, I do not want to submit no XSS bugs again. I told myself that. So I have not submitted any XSS bug except a few, which were, I was trying to get SSRFs, but it ended up being an XSS.
Accidental XSS, I would say.
Yeah, so I have no option submitting that. But for XSS, I had to make up my mind that I don't want to submit it again because I was just
But you submitted XSS for one straight year.
Yeah. Yeah, I submitted.
That's some kind of...
I didn't make money, but I looked at it, I didn't like that. I was not finding anything else. So yeah, that's what pushed me into just focusing on server-side bugs. And it started, it's slow because you're now figuring out stuff, but if you spend time of anything in the world, you're going to get the result.
So why is it people start with XSS easily? I mean, you had some background in building websites. You also knew Python and all the other things. So you had some kind of a understanding of how websites work, right? So you understood how APIs go and how APIs work. Even then you started with XSS. Is it because it's easier to test? You can quickly understand whether there's impact or not. Is it because of that?
No, for XSS, I found a way to automate it. So it was very easy for me. That's why I had created an automation. It was, I think back then I was using a few tools, which was a Burp plugin called Reflector or something. And I also created a simple plugin that just injects payloads from the browser. I mean, from the extension, you can just make it inject payloads into fields. And I also made another extension that replaces the inputs and checks it in the responses. I created automation around, so I was just I wasn't even doing nothing. I was just it was very easy. And that is
vibe coding, vibe security seems like.
Yeah, that was it's like vibe coding, but vibe coding was not alive back then. But yes, that's why I fell into that kind of trap.
Seems we have been automating for a very long time now.
Yeah.
So you from then you shifted on to hunt server-side bugs and API bugs. What makes APIs and the server-side bugs more attractive or target to you than the XSS ones?
Money.
But you told you were making good money in the XSS one as well, right?
So with that, I was making a programmer now. Some programs will have a limit for XSS. There's now a limit for XSS on programs. So no matter what impact you can show, they're going to give you a specific amount.
Yep.
Yeah, that automatically just reduces how much they're gonna pay. There's a whole different way they pay for client-side bugs versus.
And that's also directly correlated to the kind of impact you would make. A server-side bug would leak everyone's data, but an XSS might just...
Exactly. An XSS, you might have to send it to a user. A user might have to open a page.
Yep.
But server-side bugs is zero user interaction and crazy impact.
Yep. Mashud, walk us through a typical API find. From the moment that you open a laptop, how you would enumerate, what do you look for, what are some quick checks that people should start with, and whether it's worth pursuing or not.
Okay, so I would say get a large scope, a wildcard star dot. You can scan it, find subdomains with tools like AMAS.
So do you have all the API keys in AMAS, or do you just use the default one?
Yes, I do have all the API keys in AMAS.
And do you pay for these APIs, or are these free ones?
I do pay for them still, but to be honest, with the current months, I have not even really focused on heavy recon because I'm focused on some specific things. But I do have all of them paid for, needed. And you should also invest in fuzzing the domains,
AMAS has that option
permutation.
To do permutation combination.
Yes, invest your time into that.
Wildcard domain, right?
Yes, exactly. So invest your time into that, and then you would use a tool. You could use a tool like HTTPX, or you could create your own tool that should help you. HTTPX can quickly help you get the page title, the content type, and all of that stuff to have an understanding of what you're looking at. It could be anything. I don't know what it could be anything. But where it gets much more interesting is observing. In the modern days, it's observing the JavaScript files in each domain, and observing the XHR request, the JavaScript requests. So my tool is just basically when I provide it with a domain, it gets all the subdomains, makes headless requests to them, and the headless requests includes all those requests that even maybe a CLI tool would not make a headless request. Straight up. So all those requests
essentially loads that website into the browser to actually make those JavaScript requests.
Yes, and it's proxy, so I get to see a lot of data, and I get to understand what this API does, what this website is for, the functionality. That's how you start. That's what will give you an understanding of the stuff to monitor or the stuff to test. So you just don't go spray and pray. You could spray and pray. It's 2025, right? So it works, but you could also you could also go that way to be much more precise. And once you have an understanding like that, it's let's give this test scenario. Say you then end up seeing that Dev 1 is for developers. Dev 1 has API docs, it has unauthorized access, so definitely data on Dev 1 should not be accessed. It's for internal use for the employees. But you notice that from that face. So you know that automatically if you ever come across some data there, or you ever come across an endpoint, or you know what to attack on that side to get some kind of whatever you're trying to exploit. It's broad. It depends on what you're facing. Yeah.
But help me understand. So when you mentioned about the subdomain enumeration and stuff, and you use AMAS, you don't use any other tool like Subfinder or any other tool there.
Yeah, I did try Subfinder last 2 months. I started using it. It's good. Yeah, I believe it's all from API.
I think it's the same thing. Project
sources.
discovery. Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah. And how long does it usually take on these wildcard domains? Does it take 16, 20 hours, or how long does it take usually?
Okay, so I did show you the tool I built, which yes, so it doesn't take a long time. It works like Axiom, but it's on Windows. It's on Windows stuff. So scanning doesn't take a long time because it has a list of servers. It just splits the list across them, runs whatever, and submits the output. So it doesn't take.
Oh, I'm talking about.
It depends on.
Before that, so you showed me the one where you had to do those headless requests and split across all these Windows servers. But just getting those list of subdomains, how long does it usually take? Because AMAS, I have run it for wildcards and it takes a lot of time. Yeah.
Okay, so I use AMAS in passive mode. It does not do any kind of active stuff or any kind of fuzzing. So that is step one. And then step two, I use I just put it into a bash command. Let me see if I can find it, but it's AltDNS. Yes, AltDNS to permutate domains and resolve them with the Cypher, which is it's a Windows tool that I'm working on, and it gets submitted. So that's a fast process. I really like speed.
So you don't need to so you don't use the API keys that you have in AMAS, right?
I use them.
Okay.
In passive. When you use them in passive, it does not do any kind of active stuff. So
that you use AltDNS for that.
Yeah, so in passive, I think max it should take a few minutes.
Oh, that's very fast.
Yeah. If in passive mode, AMAS-passive.
And AltDNS, how long does it take with AltDNS? Like permitting and all that?
So I just generate the output and I run it with massdns, and I use that with Cypher, and it should take it depends on the list, how long the list is, and I would know how many Windows instances I'm going to have to create to run through them. So I mainly just try and make sure it's a good ratio, it's a good ratio so that I can get the results faster.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. That's interesting. So the step is first you find these subdomains. First find a wildcard program that pays good amount of money. Run it through AMAS passive so that you get the list of subdomains. Run it through massdns to get the ones that have a DNS actually pointing to it.
Okay. Yes.
Good. Sorry, did I mess it up?
No. I thought you skipped something, but you're right. You're on the right track.
Okay. So once you have that everything actually translates to some website, there is no NX domain, and then you do the get the titles and all that.
Exactly.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. And okay, so these are about the API. So once you have the titles, and then you actually go and dig into the JavaScript of these files and figure out if there's any API endpoints or try to hit those API endpoints. And that's the manual process. So this was automated, and then the manual thing.
That is manual, but my automation is kind of automating manual stuff. So I do also have, going into those things automated. I missed the second step. So because you're talking about API, but once you have those domains, you could run it through any kind of tools that you have to scan for CVEs or that stuff. And you should get some hits, and it should also help you get an insight of what you're looking into. And what did you say before I cut you off?
I was saying, so once you have these lists, then you manually review it, or do you do FFUF? You run for a basic list of Git folders or env files, those kinds of things. Do you check for that?
Okay. Occasionally, it depends on the type of scope I'm looking at. And currently, with the apps I'm looking at, they are JavaScript kind of, these kind of modern apps, and I don't have much luck with Fuff, but I do have more luck with, just digging deep into the JavaScript or digging deep into however they store stuff in their pages. It's way better than fuzzing because you're going to get precise results, precise parameters. And yeah.
So what does your process look like? Let's say someone who doesn't have the tool that you have built, but if they would want to do the same thing manually, how would they go about it?
Okay, so once you get that data, you get all you could identify an app you want to look at.
Mm-hmm.
And use it and see how it works, how the APIs are. It could be JavaScript, it could be, but monitor how the APIs are stored and try and find all of them.
So Mashud, you talked a lot about APIs and then recon and then finding JavaScript and then running it through your own tool that you have inbuilt for some kind of Windows host and some kind of proxy rotations. But like not everyone has that secret tool that you have built, right? So how do you, if I had to do the same thing or if I had to learn the methodology behind it, can you walk us through that so that anyone doesn't have the tool to work with it?
Okay, so to start with, it's not a secret tool, that's one. Everyone might have, I believe everyone have access to it soon to start with. And so yeah, to that, I would say you should monitor, try and find, when you're looking through the files on the website, try and put your focus on finding JavaScript files that are used by employees or used by the other side. There's the user side and the people who create the website, and they could be different roles. Try and find the files used by them.
So sometimes like these single page applications, they also have the JavaScript for the admin side. Or
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Once you could also dive into the actual JavaScript files, but on a public program, they might be looked at heavily. And I look at public programs, they might be looked at heavily. So when you dive there, once you dive there, anything you do have access to is technically you shouldn't have access to. So once you dive there, it's a whole attack surface you should now start exploiting and creating having a logic of what you're going to do. It could be, I hope this is not, I'm really not trying to sound like secretive stuff because it's broad. It could be anything.
I get it.
Anything.
No, thanks.
Anything.
I understood the workflow now. So essentially digging into.
Let me just add. You could also if you have headless mode, which is something I implemented in my tool. You have headless mode, and I also have a way to store the responses. I run everything through TruffleHawk, and also since they're stored, I could just search for stuff very quick. So the whole list is there, and I could just search for specific data. If I'm looking for parameter, if you're diving into JavaScript files, there's a lot of stuff you need to find, and it just makes it very easier for me. That's why I would recommend creating tools for this. And going on a large scale, like a wildcard, in 2025, there are WAFs, and the WAFs are heavy. There's been WAFs always, but the WAFs are now very heavy. So which is why I would also recommend you to, whoever will do it, to also create tools or use my tool or his tool when it's out. But it's the WAFs work. Yeah, the WAFs work. So if you go running scanners on same programs I'm looking at, I might find results in same payload you didn't find result because you triggered a WAF.
That is one thing I've seen a lot when people try headless browsers and they use like DigitalOcean or AWS IPs. They usually trigger the WAF because no one is visiting, let's say Airbnb or Uber or whatever programs. They're not visiting through your DigitalOcean account, but a residential proxy.
Exactly.
That's one of the big reasons I've seen people failing it, because they done this IP.
Exactly. And I believe, I don't believe, there are, once your IP is flagged by some people for fuzzing, I think there's some way, somehow, other servers just going to start treating your IP a certain way. And it's going to make you miss, little stuff that could have just led to you finding stuff. So it would be better if you do have IP rotation and have your workload split across different stuff.
So and for people who don't have any of these things and would still want to, you can like manually go to these, let's say 10, 1500, whatever websites. There's a Chrome and a Firefox extension to download the whole website, and then you can manually go through it. That's the manual approach. But if you can build a tool like Mashud has built, then you can also automate that by using IP rotation and like systems that doesn't trigger a WAF. So you need to test it out first, and if it's working reliably, then you can go and do it for that. That's really interesting, Mashud. That was a really good insight because I've not heard a lot of people using headless browsers to get JavaScript because people just use like CLI tools, and CLI tools like are not able to get the whole like single page applications and stuff.
Yeah, I mean the CLI tools are I feel like they are much more made for single apps and also maybe kind of CTF stuff type. But if you want to implement them into the real world, you have to modify them. You have to modify them if you want to use them how you want them to be used. You have to modify them.
Regarding this, so I also saw a few account takeover bugs that you have reported, and those were like very high impact. Can you walk us through any of these?
Yes, so that's also a phase I go through when testing, which is just trying to dive into the main app and testing the registration and the login and the auth flows, all those kind of flows. And common techniques I found, which you can also look at, is playing with the URL encoding or whatever kind of encoding. For example, if you have a post request, which is either an auth, login, registration, whatever, so far as dealing with creating or logging into the session, and it's an application URL form encoded. You understand what that means? I believe everybody understands what that means. You could try playing with double encoding or %FF, look for weird behaviors. And I believe OXACB made a tool, a very good tool. I don't remember the name of the tool, but if you look him up, I believe you can find the tool.
Well, what's the name?
Let me get my phone. Let me look it up. OXACB. Recollapse. Okay, I'll put the link of the guy in the description of the video. Yes, so that tool is also a good tool to look for weird behaviors on how the data is being processed from that input to when it's taken into the database or whatever kind of processing it does. You can find weird behaviors or some kind of stuff and dive deep. So that is for URL form encoded. If you have application JSON, you could play with adding spaces or adding a backslash like this way. 5C, %5C, that backslash, UOOOA, OD, trying to just find ways of trying to create the same email, or just trying to trick the server into getting you to be someone else. All these things, all these little things would give you an open way into that.
And you try all of these like with the different like encoding and different application JSON, all those kinds of things. You try to change those headers, change the value, new lines.
Exactly. So an example would be, say you have a simple app. It says login, and it's application URL form URL encoded, and it just says login or register. And the register is simple: email, password. Email, password, and password verification. Let me say that. And then login is just email and password. So now I registered Mashud 1122, and then I logged in with Mashud 1122. And then I try to register Mashud 1122 again. The server is going to tell me Mashud 1122 is already registered. So now you have to add it that, okay, maybe I could find a way to make the server think whatever payload I sent is not Mashud 1122, but then when it saves it, it's going to come out as Mashud 1122. And ways of this will be common ways I have found. One interesting way I found was double URL encoding, was on one specific host and was just on that scenario, was actually triple URL encoding a payload, and then it sent it over to the back end, and the back end, it decoded it. And then at the back end actually sent the request in JSON to do some stuff and return JSON. So it normalized everything I did. So I could
keep
re-encoding, and the server is going to keep decoding, and then it's going to give me the token it generates is going to be access to the actual person's one. But the check couldn't detect that this specific thing, this specific username or whatever was not in the database. Like, oh, it's not in the database. Okay, go ahead. And it will surprise you because of NDA. I cannot talk about the stuff I found, but you have seen it. It sits on main domains of some of the biggest websites you see that you log into every day.
I've seen that, yeah.
Every day. You just have to play around with the request and observe weird behaviors and use that to your advantage.
So zero-click account takeover was somewhere where you played with the encoding and you got access to someone else's account because they were not validating the inputs that were going through. That's interesting.
Yes, I found that a lot of times.
And was it on the main domains or was it on an obscure subdomain?
So all those were on main domains. All those account takeovers I showed you can confirm they were all on main domains.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming to the classes of bugs. Do you consider any class of bug that's low interaction but very high impact? And if you can give one or two examples of that.
Zero user interaction bugs, server-side bugs. If I'm right, is that the question you asked?
Oh, I want to say like something where you had like it was easy, or something where you have to, like, as a person you interact less with the application. You just were able to send some API endpoints where you found, and you were able to show very high impact. So you didn't actually have to spend a lot of time on the application itself, but through maybe JavaScript files or through API endpoints, you were able to show that this is very high impact.
Oh, okay. So for that, maybe I don't have much, because I do like to, even if it's an like a subdomain that I found through some recon, I do like to dive deep with my hands. Yes. So I'll pick a tool might pick up a lead or something, but then I would play with the whole app. Yeah.
This is one of the common things that I've seen. Like, everyone who is into bug bounties, they usually spend an hour or so just to see the whole application. They have the burp running, but they still want to see the whole application, explore it, what are different features and stuff.
Exactly.
And that is something I feel gives you a better and a holistic approach. Okay, these are the features, these might get connected to the other part of the application.
Exactly. That is the only kind of thing that will give you the logic to be able to break it, because a tool can just help you find a lead, or it might even find a bug, but to get bugs on their code base, you must know the logic.
But how frequently do you do it? Like, let's say every time you run your recon, you find that this domain's title has changed. Let's say now there's a different application on the same subdomain. So do you again go and look at the whole application once again?
Yes, I could look at the whole application. Or if I'm just trying to be quick, I would just look at what was updated.
Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes when you have a list of stuff you've created to automate, you could actively look into them, or you could leave them for a while to turn into a long list. Yeah. That's if nobody's looking at the attack surface you're looking at, else you're going to get duplicates. If nobody else is looking at the attack surface you're looking at, yes, you could just go off the host for some time to even get a fresh brain, so that the time you come back, it's a list of new stuff to look at, explore it, and yeah.
So do you have a checklist of things, or you just create it on the fly? You have a list of things that you know internally that I'll be checking all of these, or do you keep a checklist handy?
Okay, so with checklists, you could use a checklist, which would be good, and I would say you have to know what you're looking at. So it wouldn't make sense to just go Google, payload all the things, and try to fuzz that on. I'm trying to give a realistic example. Maybe you have a markdown XSS list and you just go try and fuzz that on an app that is using Don't Purify, or it has a website using Don't Purify. You could do all you want, but you might just not even get leads to even move forward on nothing.
Yep.
So you should know what you're looking at. Say it's PHP, then you should test for some. Yep. You could use FUF.
Yep.
Find endpoints, find where's the API, how's data being sent, is there storage, all those kind of stuff. SQL injections, custom logics that could maybe even SSRF, or assisting with on the
And I think
serialization bugs.
And I think this only comes once you have explored the application, you understand the nuances of it. Like what is it
Yes.
doing in the back end, what kind of different libraries, and if you interact with it, you know how it's filtering out your payloads, those kinds of things. And then you become focused on, okay, these are the payloads that I'm going to try, not just spray.
Exactly.
Oh, cool. That's interesting. You touched about your recon process while we're talking about the API stuff, how you do it, but how does a recon pipeline look like now today? If you have to like build a pipeline for now, how would you do it?
With the method I described earlier about doing your recon. And so currently I do have my recon scripts running for like 6 specific programs. Sorry, 6. And they are custom based on the program. I still did go through the same flow, but I noticed misconfigurations in the setup of those infrastructures. So I will build my tool around those misconfigurations. And then I get results. So it's recon and more recon. If I deeper recon, and then you get deeper recon. And it's going to be based off that first phase, which I told you. You have an understanding of it, but it's different on all. These 6 different things are very different. I can't just use one on 2. It's not going to work. It's specific because of how they build their infrastructure.
So the initial part is the same, and then you have custom logic for each of these programs where you're running for.
Exactly. So you just have to understand whatever misconfiguration or some lead you find that helps you get an attack surface, and you could build your automation on that. And
so you're looking for specific things on each of these programs, the 6 that you mentioned.
Yes. Yes.
And apart from like your custom scripts, let's retrace a bit. So till the point where your custom scripts don't come into play, what is the recon till that point? Is it like AMAS, AltDNS, massdns, and then again you're...
Yes, that and I also do a lot of web crawling to find there might be an internal link in an href, and you might not find it in any tool on the internet. There might be a link in a JavaScript and no tool on the internet will show it, and I've had good success in that too. I mean, I've had good luck in that too, because those domains have just not been looked at, and for some weird reason was there. I clicked it. It's mostly probably new domains which are actually working, and you look through it and find what you have to find, exploit it, hack it.
So the way if you get like these domains and if you use the browser headless process that you mentioned, so essentially you download the whole page and the JavaScript and try to find all the links that are there. So you find all the JavaScript that's there, and then you might have a higher chance of success than just doing automated tools.
Can you say that one more time?
Oh, so what I was saying is that once you have this list of valid domains that are working, then you run your own headless browser system where you don't get blocked by the WAF. You download the whole HTML, you download the JavaScript, you run link finder or truffle or something of that sort to get all the links that are there, and then try those links so that you get more attack surface than anyone else who's like just doing spam.
Yes, and even with the links, you could use basic tools like link finder, which is what I used to use at first. But if you want to find more stuff, I would recommend just creating simple scripts to match the regex for that specific application, because link finder could detect based on its rules. I mean, it's kind of regex it looks through, but custom other application you're looking at will also store domains, but it might just have stored them in a whole different pattern that link finder will miss. So going through the data to find all of that.
That's interesting. Yeah, I get it. I mean, once you grow on a program, you have done a lot of hacking on that, you understand the unique patterns that they might have, and especially with like minified JavaScript files, it's even harder to get these because there's no URL that you can just do a regex match and find it.
That's a funny thing you even spoke about. So yes, even with that, it's harder, right? But I'm working on some research that will be public. I did find a 0 day, and I worked together with Who Are Me, and we were able to do some more impact. But it was on some JavaScript apps where we could just it's minified, but you could still get the map file from it.
How do you pick your targets? What is the reason you want to hack on these particular 6 apps? Is it because you have done a lot of hacking on that? Is it because of the payout, the scope? What exactly do you think when you're doing
so currently it's going to be because of the bounty table and the scope. And if it's a good bounty table, I'm definitely going to take a look into it. And anything else, no. I don't know.
And what do you suggest with new bug bounty hunters who are just getting into it? Because for the higher bounty tables, every good hacker would be trying on that, right? So where should they put their focus on?
I would say put your focus on finding new functionalities. And if you are a newbie, I'm guessing you will be on YouTube, or you will be following specific people with running a whole bunch of, all of you are kind of running the same tools or targets. They do work, except you might just not be finding leads because of how you are using it. And so I would say try and find one web app, focus on it, try and use Burp Suite and try and send stuff to the repeater and do stuff. It could be using a Burp plugin, or you manually playing with the headers, the cookies, the parameters, or even running active scans on them to also help you get an understanding just by sending to repeater. Other than just running this bug bounty tip things that are going around. Some of them are real useful, but if you run them blindly, I believe you will be and not getting results, and you'll feel like you're not progressing or nothing. But it's just little things. So I would say find one app find a good. You could even find a public program that pays good. Maybe you would not have confidence hacking the main domain. So find a subdomain that allows you to register and explore it. And a funny thing about doing that is even like Uber, you register and explore. One thing that could be done on one domain goes a long way deep into their system. And you would learn based on the program, how they have their code base. You will have an understanding of what to do.
So do you mostly hack on web applications, or do you also hack on Android applications or iPhone for that matter?
Yeah, iOS.
You hack on iOS.
And for Android, I do just grab the application and extract links.
Okay.
And the API paths.
Static
There were
files.
some programs I found domains for, and I'm just trying to understand how the API works. I couldn't find JavaScript files, but in the mobile file, the APK file, you compound it. We're gonna extract all the links, the APIs. Yes.
Okay. That's a lot of interesting information about how you hack. Now the next part was where we want to know about the collaborations they have did. Every hacker that I've talked to, they usually have some collaboration partner, people that they usually collaborate to. How do you suggest, for you, how much of collaboration has helped you grow as a hacker and earn bounties in that state? And if you can talk more about collaboration in the bug bounty world.
Okay, I'm independent, but I do collaborate. I'm talking about from the perspective you're coming from, I'm independent. But even regarding my friend Tess, who I've worked with a lot, it's really random because we're actually friends. We could just sit down and he say, I got this, I got this new scope. I think and he sent it over, and I just look, and it's the same vice versa. So we're not necessarily relying on each other. We are just doing our own thing. but we do work together when there's a lead and we have to, or there's a promotion that we feel like, if we work together on this, it's going to happen. And I also did collaborate with a few other hackers on HackerOne, but that was through 0 days I discovered, and they helped me scan their scopes or their database set of domains for the 0 day, which was found. But yeah, aside that, I'm just reporting. I find something, I report straight up on HackerOne.
It's interesting. And so when you collaborate, do you split the bounties half and half, or how does the payout work for you? Or do you agree on something early on?
Yeah, so I mean, it's 50-50 everything is 50-50 because of how because of how it went. Because maybe you found a lead, you sent it over. I mean, you found the lead, I exploited it. I just understand it's 50-50. I even found a 0 day, you scanned it, you did your work too. 50-50 just makes everything good. That's what I'll say. 50-50 just makes everything.
That's it. Good relations go a long way. I see a lot of these HackerOne badges and stuff. So you have been to a lot of these events. So how important has networking been for you while you go to these events? Do you think it helps you grow as a hacker?
Yes. I went to my first event, H1702, as a +1. And it was actually the first place I actually went to in my life where, you just look right, you talk to someone about, exploiting. You look left, you talk to someone exploiting something, Everybody's talking about what we do, It's the first place in my life, the first time in my life I've been somewhere like that. And it was very cool. And it opened up because, over there, it's a group of good people. They're all good. Everybody there is good. So surprisingly, bro, you might come up with something or a lead, and whoever you talk to might just exploit you. Somebody talks to you about something, and you have the way forward or the exploit or whatever the situation is. And yeah, having friends too, you could talk about trending, you found this, you share it, he could your friend could also look into that software, find stuff, you talk about it, and yeah, it's about finding common stuff.
So you have made a lot of friends through these networking events, like these hacking events that you have been in person. Do you frequently travel to these?
I've been to just one LHG, actually, just 702. The others I participated in was on virtually.
Okay.
But I do frequently travel myself, yeah.
Bug bounty hunters have to show impact, otherwise it's usually marked as a low impact till the time they are able to show a high impact thing, such as finding maybe ATOs, which is they're able to leak, let's say, 100,000 of records. How do you balance that responsible disclosure as well as the impact that you want to see? Because you might be getting underpaid for something that, you're only able to get to some extent. So how do you do that?
So good question. This depends on the team you're dealing with. So in your bug bounty journey, you're going to see the bug bounty game differently, and it will depend on the team you're working with. Some teams could take the extra step of even diving into the vulnerability or the issue you sent and exploring more impact for you to pay the bounty, or they could straight up just know that, this is what could be done, and then you get the bounty. That's good. But there are some other teams which will underpay, right? But it's technically not underpaying. They actually want to see that dangerous thing you could do other than just a report. And the only sad thing about that is sometimes, you get to know about that after they patch the issue. So you can't even go. So you have to know the team you're working with. So when you're at the start with the program, you have to just know what their program, when you're hacking a program, you have to know what they want. It's not what you could actually hack, because you could find some crazy bugs on a program and they're not going to pay for it. You could argue all you want, request how many things, it's not going to get paid for. It's what the team feels like it's an issue that they will pay for. So you should dive towards that. Yeah, and with an example, which we're talking about was I was working with a friend on a 0 day, and we found a way to get admin stuff. and do a cookie, an exploit in a cookie, and we sent the report and showed what could have been done with all the information disclosed, and we were paid low, or not the amount we expected, and so we then had to go further since they requested it, and so we did go further.
But it was after the permission from the team that, okay, show us high impact, then only you went further.
Yes, but it's all the time with the team, actually. So I'll say that. That's why I said you have to know the team you're working with. But
so now you know their cadence, that they would want to see high impact only, then they'll pay high payouts.
And there are also some programs that I hack on that I just know, I just have to send this, and the team is going to just make it easy processed.
I've seen that with Google. They try to escalate it internally and see how high you can go with that bug.
Exactly.
That's a good one.
Exactly. Because one thing I see that also the newbies, or new people who are new into bug hunting, will do with bug bounty programs is, you probably get underpaid for a report, or you probably get, something happens, and then it's a confusion. You should understand that sometimes it's just nothing you can do. Move on. That's what I say. Find a program that works for you, or find the issues that they want and keep giving it to them. Keep finding it for them. You trust me, on some programs you might even send RCE on a specific domain. They are not. It's not a theory. They're not going to take it.
How do you deal with duplicates, rejections, payouts, disputes mentally? Because it's a lot of, you spend a lot of hours finding that, and then you have to also work with the team, talk to duplicate. Maybe there's a duplicate rejection. How do you handle the mental stress of all that?
Okay, so with duplicates, to be very honest, on the past 3 years or 2, ever since I stopped looking for XSS, even when I was looking for XSSs, I was hardly getting the duplicates. But ever since I stopped looking for XSSs too, I have less duplicate. Like, my duplicate ratio is very, I would say this year I might have had 4 duplicates.
Oh,
and even 2 might be to myself, where they report that they say that the root cause is the same. So 2 might even be to myself. And even another one, I did even find out was a friend of mine, but we do have knowledge on the same attack surface.
So how do you manage the burnout? Because they're hacking day in and day out. How do you manage the burnout that's there?
So with that, I read a blog from Shubs InfoSec that helped me get into that mindset, which helps me handle burnouts, is that there's always vulnerabilities. There's always new code being pushed. So don't put your mind in this don't even think of what bug I'm going to find, because you did not program it.
Yep.
So just know there's always new code out there, and now it's even AI, so it's new vibe code out there. New code you might just not understand why this is happening, but it's happening. So that should give you motivation enough to open up your burp suite, or whatever you're doing, whatever you need to hack, to start hacking. And what comes forth, what comes on from the future, is not based on what you think. It's based on what you're looking at.
How much
new code you're looking at, there's always going to be bugs,
Sorry. How much of LLM do you use when you're hacking now compared to previously?
Now my coding is kind of
is it purely vibe coded now?
No, it's not purely vibe coded for that. No, it's not purely vibe coded, but you saw how my conversation was with Cursor, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm still building my code, but it's fast. It could easily tell how you build a function. You create you type a function name, and it just knows from the function name what you want. Yes, that stuff like that is good. And also for processing data, it depends on the scope. Because I recently started building AI too, so it depends on the scope. I've dived into various vectors. But the funny thing with AI is, unlike before, where I could start a lot of projects and not finish them, and only finish what I think will give me money. With AI, I finished every single project.
That's true.
From Yeah, every project is finished. That's what I'll say. Every project is finished.
Cool. Now we are to the last section of the quick fire. You'll get 10 to 15 seconds to think over it and answer something, whatever comes to the top of your mind. So be careful what you're answering. Okay, let's start. What's a favorite recon tool right now?
Cypher.
What's one underrated technique for API hunting?
Pre-claiming data, pre-claiming IDs. It could introduce you to a whole, or adding an JSON request. You could just add some kind of flag, maybe admin true. It could be of various kind of functionality. It depends on what you're looking at, but yeah, that kind of flaw. And also fuzzing cookies. Yeah.
Okay. One book, thread, or tweet every hunter should read about, or a paper. Or maybe a video as well, if you're a video person.
About hacking?
Yep. Every bug bounty hunter should read or see.
Read. Yeah, my findings are really based on this guy's blog. Because I was reading it back when I was in high school. I was just reading it in class. And Ron Chan, I think his blog is WordPress.
Oh yeah, I'll add his blog. I know his blog. I'll add it.
NGLog or something. So I did get a lot of I did learn a lot from his blogs. That's why I'm finding a lot of the stuff I'm even finding today. I learned so much from his blogs.
Okay. Coming to the next one. Coffee or no coffee while hunting?
No coffee.
That's nice. One thing you wish companies could fix about their bug bounty programs?
Communication.
Cool. That's pretty much it, Mashud. Thanks for joining us today. That was really insightful.
Nice seeing you, Asim.